This is the ABQ Business Podcast with your host, Jason Rigby. Each week we'll interview visionary business leaders to inspire the creative power and spirit that's in every entrepreneur. Discussing strengths, weaknesses, strategies, systems, and the problems we can all solve together for a new future for local small business.
Hey guys, Jason here with Albuquerque Business Podcast. Saw a really cool article in Inc. magazine, and I've kind of been saving the article because I figured I could use this right now because we're at that time and place in 2020 where everybody quits on their New Year's resolutions. It lasts about 20 days, 21 days, and we're at that mark. We're getting close to the end of January. And so a lot of us decide to quit. A lot of us get sick, our life happens, or an emergency hits, and guess what? Next thing you know, we're away from the path. And this article talked about 19 reasons why people get stuck and how to get unstuck. And I love the first one that they have in here. It says, you never have enough. So you begin to look at what others have. You begin to look at your competitors. You begin to look at businesses that are flourishing. You begin to look at your age compared to other people. And you have this sense of always wanting more. And that nothing, even in the present moment, nothing is ever enough. And I have had to learn this personally, especially in the form of gratitude. Something I've been learning, I heard this on an Aubrey Marcus podcast. He was interviewing somebody and they said to breathe in and say, I love myself, and then breathe out and say thankful with a heart of gratitude. And do that 10 times. And I've been to do that, and it's been revolutionizing the way that I can get my mindset, because I can't meditate. I'm too ADD with all that. And it just drives me nuts if I sit there and try to think, and I just don't have that capability to sit for a very long time. I'm always busy, my mind's active, and I try to still it and try to get it to a point to where I can just focus. But taking 10 deep breaths and saying, I love myself, and then when I breathe out, saying thank you, it's gratitude, because we have enough. If you don't think you do, take your health away. There are people sitting in hospitals right now that know that in 24 hours, their life is going to end, and they have family members all bound in their bed, sitting next to them. People are crying around them. They're crying. They know. Life as they know it for themselves is going to be over very soon. You have enough. If you have health, you have enough. And how soon do we forget that? How quickly do we take life for granted in those moments? And then we're always dissatisfied, which creates disease or dis-ease in our lives. When we know deep down that every little thing that we get to experience as entrepreneurs are those amazing moments and talents and abilities and all that we have. When we go on a sales call and we rock it and we provide a ton of value to our client, boom, done. And how excited and thrilled we are when we have an issue that we have to handle and we fix it right. And we know we did right in the way that we fixed it. And our customer responds accordingly. It just feels good. We have enough. And these are things that we need to be grateful for. Number 2, you experience limitations. And this is what I love. Limitations only exist in our minds. Let me say that again. Listen, guys. Limitations only exist in your mind. It's nowhere else. It's what you're thinking. It's the thought process. And in that thought process, you give emotions and feelings to that. And then that creates the limit. I really want this to sink in your head. As a child, we imagine all kinds of things, and we believe them to the point of a monster being under our bed. Even some of us are even scared of that now. I talked to somebody the other day and they were 40 years old and they still jump in their bed when they cut the light out because they're afraid that this hand is going to get them underneath the bed. It's our imagination, guys. We've lost that, which creates creativity when there's no boundaries and no limits. The possibilities of what you can accomplish with what God has given you and those abilities that only you possess, that limitation's only in your mind. Because the energy that you have inside of yourself is all of the universe. So when we're stuck, the only way we're going to get unstuck is to stop limiting who we are. Take those limiting beliefs that you have, whether you were programmed when you were a child, and maybe it was your parents, your aunt, your uncle, whoever it may be, loved them, but they told you all you can do is get a 9-to-5 job. All you can do is play it safe, have kids, buy a house, be middle class. That's it. That's what you could hope for to the best. Maybe it was a faith that you were in, a certain religious dogma that limits you and told you that you could only do this or be this way. Legalism. Number 3, you lack confidence. The reason why we're stuck. These are things why we're stuck and how we get unstuck. It's that voice of self-doubt. And if you listen to it, it's not only going to limit you, but it's always going to lack confidence. It's always fear-based. And the opposite of fear is love. We know that. And the more I began to study fear and love and fear, the more I see the parallel of those. It's like the yin and the yang, the black and the white. There's a Bible verse that I love, and it says, perfect love casts out fear. And I think about that. And when there's love and light that shines upon something, there's not fear. You lack confidence because you're allowing those limits to put an emotion of fear on them. And the only way that you're going to gain confidence is you have to tune out that inner voice. You have to challenge yourself and find some new skill to master because you've gotten bored. Let me say that again. If you're an entrepreneur, doing the same business over and over and over again, the same thing, I'm telling you, you can get bored. Challenge yourself. Do something totally new. Open up a business within a business. What have you been passionate about here lately? Open up a not-for-profit. What challenges you? Find that. You'll gain your confidence. Number 4, you feel like you've lost control. I think a lot of people let life run them instead of them running life. You can take control of your life. It's very simple. It's by being proactive with your time. That's how you take control of your life. It's that simple, guys. If you become proactive with your time instead of reactive, the minute you get to work, you have a set up schedule, a set up time, and then from there, you let yourself, through your appointments, through your calendar, control everything and not allow the fires that are all around you. You've trained your employees to present every fire to you instead of empowering them to allow them to handle it. And you don't even need to be involved. And I don't want to get into this. We're going to have another one on customer experience, and I have Amanda coming back on the podcast. Amazing episode. She was on the first time. I encourage you guys to find archive podcast on it. Amanda Garrard, she was on. We talked about customer service, customer experience, and we went even deeper this time. And in a couple weeks, it's going to be coming out. It'll be amazing. But if you feel like you've lost control, you've got to find that control through organizing your time. You've got to pull the calendar out, whether you write it out. It's 2020. I hope you got a book. You need to pull it out. If you were using it for a few days and then you stopped, guess what? It's time to pull it out again. Number 5, you ignore problems. Ignoring a problem, we all know will not make it go away. Instead, we have to put our energy into dealing with the fallout. We have to use it to face what's in front of us, and we have to work towards finding an amazing solution to that terrible problem. And problems are awesome. You know why? Because they challenge us. It gets us not being bored. Okay, I need to have a 20% increase in my business just to pay the debt that I have. Perfect. Guess what? It's time. How creative can I be? What can I do that's different than everybody else? Start asking those questions to yourself. Guess what? It may not happen in a night or a day that you take off to figure this out, but you're creative. You're powerful. You have the answer inside of yourself. You don't need to go somewhere else. It's in you. You just have to keep asking yourself. And guess what? If you can do that with love and intention, you'll get the answer. Number 6, you stop making plans. We all have heard without a plan, it's just a dream, but you've got to get specific and say, okay. And I talked about this in my podcast, the 12-week year, where you can do what you would normally do in a year in 12 weeks. Encourage you to listen to that one. That gets into detail. I'm not going to get into it for sake of time. Excuse me. But you have to have enough faith in yourself to believe that you can start the project that you've been putting off. It's not that you're putting it off. You just don't have enough confidence and faith in yourself to believe that you can accomplish it. So what you think is going to happen, if you start it, you're going to fail. Instead of gaining clarity and understanding that you have the power and the ability to begin this project and that you can be flexible through it, if you will continue to monitor yourself and hold yourself accountable, you can accomplish it. It's time to start making plans if you want to get unstuck. Next one is you don't take action. You know what to do. You know that you should take the action. You know you should hold yourself responsible. You know you should hold yourself accountable. But guess what? You're just going home, doing the same old, watching Netflix, binge watching, drinking a glass of wine, and hoping that it'll just fix itself on its own. And that elephant, that's how I like to look at it. I actually look at it like a tiger. So I like to look at there's this scary tiger. I mean, because they have man-eater tigers. And there's bamboo. And that tiger is just following me everywhere I go, ready to eat me at any moment. And when I look over, he's right there. And he could pounce at any moment unless I handle the situation. That's how I look at problems in my life. I can hit it head on and confront them and use the tools that I have. Then I can take exactly what I know I should do deep down in my heart and have the courage to confront the tiger and do what I need to do to win. Set small, manageable goals every day and start building on baby steps. You don't say, okay, I'm stuck and I've been stuck for, 2 months now. I got the flu, I got sick, I had this. And then next thing you know, I'm back to normal. I was working out, I was doing this. Take a baby step. I'm going to roll out while I'm watching Netflix on my yoga mat. And I'm going to roll out for 20 minutes while I'm watching TV. I'm going to do yoga poses while I'm listening to a podcast, whatever it may be. But you have to understand it takes time to accomplish something great. Give yourself baby steps. It'll get you unstuck. Next one, you don't believe in yourself. This is where we all undermine ourselves. This is where we fake it till we make it. Because we really have this thing stuck in us, whether it was from a parent or a loved one or a teacher or a mentor. Somebody in our childhood told us we weren't good enough, and now we've been doing everything that we can to prove to others that we are good enough. And so we can't admit to ourselves that we are, so we turn around and run around and chase everything in fear and in guilt in hopes that we can get love through the accomplishments that we do. Some of you are literally burning yourself out with your children, with your business, with your partner, with your wife, whatever. Maybe you're burning yourself out because you're always looking for something that is within inside of yourself, but you're thinking other people are going to satisfy you in it. And then you've turned around and made them and those people gods. What am I saying? You worship them. If they're happy and appeased, then you're happy. If not, then what can I do? What can I sacrifice to make them happy? You don't believe in yourself. And like I said before, it's so simple, guys. Everything resides in you. The power that lives in the universe is in you. Think about that. All religions teach that. That's the truth. We have unlimited power residing in us that we can tap into and accomplish anything that we want to accomplish with passion if we set our mind to it and we're disciplined. Number 9, you have negative thoughts. I call them ants, a negative thought. I like to call it that. But I never realized how many I had until I began to, Alex on my Higher Density Living podcast, the other one that we get more deeply into this with science and mysteries, and it's a really cool podcast. I encourage you guys to listen to it. It's Higher Density Living. Alex and I co-host with him on the podcast. We talk about this, how energy and how you can turn around and give energy to that emotion or that thought and then amplify it, and it'll become bigger and bigger, and then it will become true because of the amount of energy you give into it. And that's been proven scientifically. Number 10, you keep doing what you've always done. This is just being stuck. You have to change something. If it's small, a baby step, like I said before, change something. Find the weakest point in your process and make a change there. I'm going to make another podcast about this, but some of you do things that you hate to do every day. Why? Especially if you're a business owner. That's the dumbest thing. Why do you feel like you need to torture yourself like that? Because you've always done it? Dish it off to somebody else. Delegate. Why are you coming into work at 7? Just so you can show people that you're there above them? What if you want to go work out from 7 to 9? Go work out. Take a shower, relax, come in at 10. Trust me, it'll be fine. And you'll be in a much better mood and your employees will love you for it. You don't need to be there all the time. A business owner that has to be there all the time has a dysfunctional business. It's like having a 25-year-old child and you have to baby them and walk around them and watch every little thing they do. No, you have adults there at your business. And if you don't think you do, then you don't have the right people in place, or you haven't coached and trained them properly, and you're not a good leader. And you need to work on your leadership. You don't need to be there all the time, guys. Your employees like a little bit of freedom too. They don't need to see you all the time. Creates mystery too. Show up, do meetings, make sure everybody's good to go, and then leave. But you get your self-worth and your value and feeling like you need to be needed. Instead of empowering others, you need other people to empower you. Because once again, you're not good enough. Number 11, you stop trying. Running out the clock is a terrible approach to life. Giving up on life and just showing up and doing the bare minimum, that's not going to help anybody. That does not inspire, bring passion to any of your employees or anyone that you're around. Number 12, I see this one all the time when I talk to people. They're always doing this one. A scarcity mentality. Number 12 is you blame a lack of resources. You blamed out the things that you don't have instead of looking at the things you do have. I was sharing with somebody else. I was like, wow, it looks like I was at a business the other day. And I was like, it looks like you have a ton of tools, but no one's using them. You just keep buying tools all the time, doing all these different programs, and everybody's doing them at 10, 15, 20%. One program you have somebody doing at 30, and it's amazing. I was like, what if you took the tools that you already had, the programs that you've had in place, the software that you've halfway used, the social media accounts that you barely use? What if you take all that and you went to 100% on it? You don't need to buy anything else. Most of businesses have more than everything. That's the problem we have. We treat our businesses like when we go to Costco. Next thing you know, we have a garage full of crap that we don't need. We have 4 paper towels and 8 huge things of fabric softener. I've done it. We've all done it. Oh, that's on sale. Let me grab that. We don't need to have that in our business. We need to prioritize, simplify, and show our employees exactly the tools that we already have and hold them accountable. Use it 100% and you'll get 10x on your business. Number 13, you don't take responsibility. If you can't hold yourself accountable, then how can you not hold other people? You're basically saying, I can't count on myself. So if I can't count on myself, then every employee that I have and every person I'm in charge of as a leader, I can't count on them either. You have to learn to be able to count on yourself. And the only way that you're going to do that is daily holding yourself responsible to the things that you need to get done that make you feel great afterwards. Or maybe eliminating the things that you hate to do and allowing somebody else to do it so you can be more productive in the things that you love to do. I always ask business owners when I go in and I consult and counsel with them, I'll sit there and I'll say, I want you to keep track for a week of everything you do every day. Not in super detail, like if you ate at, Wendy's or you went to Seasons, not that. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is specifically if you're at work 6 hours, 8 hours, 10, 12 hours, what are you doing there in that time? And then I like to ask them, when we go back and I come back the next week and I look over it, I like to ask them, how much of that time is doing things that you're passionate about and that you love? And it's about 20%. 80% is about stuff they don't like to do. So they're living as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, they're living in their 20%, which is horrific. It should be flipped. If they did 80% of the things that they were passionate about and loved and what their strengths were and delegated or hired out the other, imagine what would happen. Their business would literally flip around 180 degrees. Number 14, you're not present. 80% of success we know is showing up. Commit with your mind, commit with your body, and commit spiritually and show up. Be present. Number 15, you fear a failure. We talked about this. I did a whole podcast on what's going to fuck you up in 2020. And I encourage you guys to listen to that because it talks about fear paralyzing you. If you fail, it's a learning lesson, guys. We've all failed. We know. Why are you afraid to fail now? When you were younger, you were. If you let fear persuade you not to even attempt to try, you're going to have regret. And I don't want to be on my deathbed with regret. Screw that. I'm not going to have that. I would rather have failed 100 times than to live with regret. Number 16, you're your own worst enemy. These are reasons how we need to find out so we can hold ourselves accountable and get unstuck because we're stuck. You allow people to take advantage of you. You're allowing people to belittle you. You have toxic relationships. And you're not taking responsibility to say, I'm either going to limit these people or get these people out of my life. You cannot achieve what you need to accomplish if you have people around you dragging you down. Some of you need to end toxic relationships in your life. And the person popped in your head right then and there when I said that. And you know who that person is. Why do you feel like you need to hold them up when they tear you down? What responsibility do you have to them? Answer that. Number 17, you lack courage. This goes right in hand with that. Once again, courage is just the absence of fear. Courageous people are just like the rest of us. The only thing is they decide to make a commitment and go for it in a time of stress. The dream, the passion, the vision, the mission was bigger than them. And they risk it all to try to accomplish it. That's being courageous, guys. Number 18, you're waiting for a starting bell. You're an entrepreneur. You're a business owner. You're a leader. You don't need anybody's permission. Stop. Who are you waiting for? Maybe you've lived your whole life like that, where you feel like you need people to give you the okay on things. And you run around and you'll talk to 4, 5, 6 people. And if you can get a consensus, then it gives you courage enough to. And I'm not talking about asking somebody for feedback, negative or positive, whatever. I'm not asking that, like a good friend, someone that can help you in that arena. I'm talking about getting permission because you're being fearful. Start right where you are. Use the tools that you have right now and do what you can to get moving, to get unstuck. Move. Number 19, last one. You compare yourself to others. Unless you know them, unless you've been in their brain, you have no idea who that person really is. We have no idea. The actions that people demonstrate on the outside is not even close to who they are inside. I've given up a long time ago trying to compare myself to others. I'm not going to compare myself with Travis, who started Uber in his 20s and is a billionaire, to me, who's 46 and not close to that. You see what I'm saying? You can't compare yourself. We don't know what that situation is. We don't know who that person is. Guess what? That guy that started Uber is having issues and problems. And guess what? I'm going to have issues and problems, and I do. So stop comparing yourself to others. Stop comparing yourself to other businesses. Leave others out of you. It's none of their business. To be the best version of you, you know what that looks like, and only you. Your kids don't know. Your husband, your wife, your partner, they have no idea. You do, though. Because you can fake them and make them believe that you're at a 10 and inside you're dying and you're at a 4. How many people you know that are extremely depressed, but you would look at them and think they're like the funniest people around? I'm telling you, only you know. So stop comparing yourself to others. And what's holding you back, the reason why you're stuck, is you're making excuses. Take the first step right now, guys. I'm telling you, take the first step right now, even if it's a baby step, whatever it may be, to get unstuck and move yourself forward, because success depends on you and only you. And it's your responsibility to show up. It's your responsibility for the people that you care about the most, your family, your friends, and your business, and the people that you're in charge of. They need you unstuck. They depend on you. And that's who you serve. That's who you love. That's your world. So not only do it for you, but do it for those that are around you. And when you're the best person that you can be, it's going to be infectious, and you're going to have so many stories of people that are inspired by you. So many stories that you've changed their life. I love it when an employee leaves and they go do something else, and then they come back 2, 3, 5 years later and say, "Thank you so much. You were an amazing leader. I appreciate everything that you've done. And you've helped me in my career. You've moved me in the direction that I needed to move." I love that. That's what life is. Helping others, being of service, loving yourself first, then others. Thank you, guys. I hope this helped you get unstuck. Please we're going to be doing more videos on YouTube. You can type in Jason Rigby or ABQ Jason Rigby, Albuquerque Business Podcast. It'll all show up. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you're going to be seeing more tutorials and stuff like that for digital marketing, for systems. We're going to be doing screen shares, showing you how to make YouTube ads and all different kind of amazing things that's going to be happening to promote and move you 10x in 2020. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for joining us on the Albuquerque Business Podcast. And thanks to our sponsor, RigbyDigital.com. Make sure to subscribe and share. And go to abqpodcast.com. Get show notes, resources, and links to everything we talked about today to help you navigate your journey as an entrepreneur and business owner.